What is up, guys? Beancrew49 here. We are back on the Desolation map. And finally, we're taking a break from the English pub. Are you guys happy? Okay, I'm going to work on that off screen. I've been working on it a little bit, and I'm going to finish things up. And I got some great ideas for what I could do with the illegal bits of the place. And I think I'm going to use those, some of the ideas I got. So thank you guys for that. But today we find ourselves in the ghetto. In the ghetto. We're taking a break from the roads, guys. And we're working in the ghetto. This project here has been going on and on. We got a movers and we got a pavers and a shakers. But we got the movers and the pavers over here. And I feel like that we gotta flesh this part out because we've been playing some PvP in this area, and I don't like to play PvP in unfinished parts of the city, and this part of the city is not done, so I feel like we got to finish this up before we can really get into the meat and potatoes of this PvP. Okay, you know what I mean, guys? So you can see what I've got done here. This is a movers and a pavers office, and in the back they got their vehicles. So we got a cement truck back here, and I'm gonna be building some vehicles today. Vehicles are my main focus. Nothing says this part of the map is done like a bunch of vehicles. Okay, so that's kind of like one of the last things I do before I kind of apocalypsize the street. So this is not going to be the final wave of detail for this area, but this is close to the final wave. I still have to apocalypsize the offices, which I haven't done yet, but you know, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do, guys. I understand. I'm doing my best here. Okay. And it is Monday, so we are building in fast forward motion, and I will be answering your creative question of the week. And let's do that now. But before I get into it, though, I want to apologize because I did hint that I was going to answer a specific question, and I still want to get to it, but a more urgent question came up. So don't forget that I was promised to answer that other question, because I will. Those of you who are paying attention know what I'm talking about. I don't need to say. All right. So I wanted to talk about this because it's in the news. It's everyone's talking about it. It's a timely thing. So let's get into it. Today's creative question of the week comes from Arit Chef. Arit Chef says, what do you think about the Orlando shooting and other acts of terrorism like this, and how it relates to our civil rights and other government issues? Thank you, Arit Chef. Arit's been asking so many questions. Thank you, Arit, for always coming up with some great questions. I'm not like choosing him because I like him, which I do, but I'm choosing him because he keeps asking good questions. So thank you, Arit, for bringing the questions. And thank you all for asking questions in the creative questions of the week. I love having options. Options is the best thing. It gives us diversity on this channel. It's good to have options. So the more questions I get, the better. So keep them coming, guys. I promise I'm gonna answer one of your questions eventually. You know, if you keep sending them in like a Reach Chef, I'm gonna answer one of them. Okay. All right. So what do I think about this Orlando shooting? Right now, I want you to pause this video and go watch the video I put in the description. I'm also going to put it in the card. You guys need to go watch this video before you understand what I'm talking about. It's a 7-minute video, and it's very important to what I'm about to discuss. So put this video on pause. I mean, seriously, if you have any interest in this Orlando shooting, I don't mean interest, but if you have any stake in the life you're living here on this continent, or this country, or this world even, then you need to watch this video with an open mind and see what it has to tell you. This video is basically poking holes into the official story that the media is giving us about the Orlando shooting at the Pulse nightclub. If you don't know what that is, then I can't. I mean, there was a big shooting in the U.S. Someone with an assault rifle walked into a gay nightclub, supposedly, and started opening fire and killed 50-something people and injured another 50. And there was a 3-hour standoff, I guess, and then the police eventually killed him. And, of course, as soon as this happened, the media went into a frenzy. This is what the media lives for. They live for these sorts of situations. It's like they thrive on it. They need it for the ratings, for the money to come in, for the advertising. They need these terror situations. They love it. They thrive on it. And so, of course, the media's gone crazy in the past week, just foaming at the mouth with information and misinformation, all sorts of things, just trying to fill your head with ideas. Okay, you know what I mean? So, having watched the video, and I wasn't there. I don't live in Florida. I don't know anything about this place, and all I really know about is what the media tells me. But I do know one thing for certain: the media is lying about this. I know that with absolute certainty that someone is lying, okay? Because there's so many holes. I mean, if you watch the video, you know what I'm talking about. So many holes in the official story, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make any kind of sense to anyone with a logical brain how the official story of the media could possibly be true. You know, you got witnesses claiming that there were several shooters. You know, some witnesses claim that there was 2 guns going off at the same time, which is really hard to do with an AR-15. You can't shoot another gun, okay? So, you know, a lot of eyewitness accounts state there was 2 people, one person holding the door so people couldn't escape. And then you had in the video people running the wrong way towards the hospital. You had just all sorts of accounts that just didn't add up. Didn't you know? They could say the fog of events, whatever they use in the video. But oh my goodness, it just doesn't make any sense. People running the wrong way. No ambulances. You know, the police scanners are deleted on an archive site. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't make sense in this case. Now, are we to ask what I think? Here's what I think, and you don't have to think this way. I encourage you guys to ask questions and come up with your own thing. This is just what I think, and I'm not 100% sure. I don't have proof or anything, but my intuition tells me that there's one of 2 things are true. Either the government created this, the government perpetrated this themselves, or they're using this to further their own agendas. Now, the latter, the second one, is absolutely true. I know that for certain. So I shouldn't have said, I know that for absolutely certain. The government is using this event to further their anti-gun agenda. And now, don't get me wrong, the government's not anti-gun. They just don't want the people to have the guns. They want to have the only guns. They want the police and the army to be the ones with the guns and no one else. That's the government agenda, whether you understand it or not. That is what the government wants, because it's a lot easier to keep your population in a state of fear if they have absolutely no way to protect themselves or to attack. Right? That's how you keep, like, you don't give, a rancher doesn't give his sheep, like, razors. I don't know. That's a bad analogy, okay? But, you know, you don't give the people that you're trying to contain weapons. That you just don't, okay? It doesn't make any sense, right? So they want to take away our guns. The pesky Second Amendment, which was put into place. It was designed to not just to give freedom, but to give the people an assurance that their government can't just control them undiplomatically. You know, it gives the people an opportunity to actually rise up and defend themselves from tyrannical government. And you may say it's outdated, whatever. That's a whole conversation for a different argument, okay? So the government's agenda is to disarm the populace. And even though Republicans fight that tooth and nail, a lot of Republicans want that as well. They want that as well. So it's not a Democrat-Republican thing. It's a government thing. And it's slowly going to happen. Now, as far as the government perpetrating this, well, think about it. If the government wants a disarmed populace, what is the best way to do that? What's the best way to convince them that the people, the general population, shouldn't have guns? Mass shootings! Mass shootings, of course. The more mass shootings that we have, the more people say, no one should have guns except the police and the army, right? The more mass shootings that occur, the more people will say that. And that's what the government wants. Oh, they want it bad, okay? That's exactly what the government wants, because I already went through that. Anyway, so if you're not getting enough mass shootings to push your agendas, maybe you gotta manufacture some. Maybe you gotta manufacture some. And you can't break an omelet without... What? You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. That's what I meant to say. So it's dark, it's dirty, it's beyond the comprehension of most people, and I'm not trying to convince you of this because I don't know for sure, but I want you to ask questions. I think the government killed 50 of its own people in order to have another reason to bring up the assault rifle ban. Okay, that's what I think. And I'm not 100% certain, but that's just the hunch I get, okay? Because it's happened in the past, guys, and whether you're awake to it or not, it has happened in the past. The Gulf of Tonkin brought us to Vietnam. The Gulf of Tonkin never really happened, and it caused the Vietnam War. You know, it actually happened, but it didn't happen the way the government told us. 9/11. I mean, you can believe that Al Qaeda did that, and they probably did. But who was funding it? Who okayed it? It was our own government did it, so that we could go to Afghanistan. You know, you don't have to believe me. I don't expect you to believe me, but I expect you guys to ask questions. If you start digging into 9/11, then again, you can see that the whole media portrayed story is nonsense. But you got to really start asking the right questions, because it's not something that's given to you on a silver platter, because they don't want you to ask questions. They want you to buy up the media. They want you to believe that the media is telling the truth. That is their number. If you believe the media is telling you the truth, then they can control you in any way they want. They can have the media say whatever they want, and they can make you think whatever they want. And if you think the way that they want you to think, then you are under their control, and they can get away with anything. Okay? So I think that the government perpetrated this attack, and they supplemented it with live actors. There's such thing as a crisis actor, and there's a lot of actually companies that do this, where they pretend that crises are happening for training of, you know, police personnel. You know, people pretend like they're wounded, people pretend like they're shooters and stuff like that, and they say it's for training of people. But I mean, you saw the video that I linked you guys to. I mean, this guy, the gunman, used to work for a crisis acting group. I mean, it's just it's too convenient, right? So I think what they did is they probably shot up a bunch of people, and then they brought in the crisis actors to make it look worse than it was, just to supplement it, to make it look even more horrific. You know, you have the people who are walking down the wrong way, like running away from the hospital to get the dying victims to safety. You know what I mean? And while you guys got to watch that video. Why didn't you watch the video? Go watch it. It's only 7 minutes. It's worth your time. Trust me. It'll make you question the lies that you're being fed. Okay. So I think that the government perpetrated this, and it's in order to get the assault rifle ban moving. Okay. And a lot of you are saying, well, we need these guns off our streets. Why do we need these guns? And yeah, I don't want to get into a whole gun argument right now, but I agree, there needs to be no guns. If you could remove all the guns from the world and no one has them, I would sign up for that right now. Bring it on. I would put my name on there. No more guns for anybody. And that would be it would be a step towards liberty, a step towards civilization. But that's not how it works. They want the guns to only be in a certain hands. Of course, when you have when you ban something, when you make something illegal, does that stop it? Of course not. What happens when they ban drugs? You know, can you just go buy drugs anyway? Yes. Yeah, you can go buy drugs whenever you feel like it. You just got to step outside your house and go find some drugs. Just making them illegal doesn't stop the problem. It just puts the guns in the people who are really motivated to use them's hands. It takes the guns away from the people who aren't motivated for killing, and it puts them into the hands of the black market people, you know, the people who are going to go out of their way to get guns for nefarious purposes. That's all it does. So assault rifles bans is just the first step towards militarizing the government and making it so that the policy enforcers, the police, are the only ones who have the firepower. And that causes intimidation, and intimidation causes fear, and fear causes, you know, control. When you're fearful, you're under control. That's what your government and your media wants. Open your eyes, guys. You gotta wake up. It's about time. Wakey, wakey. A lot of people are grown up to think that their government has their best interest at hand, and that's absolutely, nothing could be further than the truth. You're just a cattle to them. You're a sheep, and you need to be controlled in their eyes in order for you to remain a taxpayer. You know, they like your taxes. They like you working for them. They do nothing but drop bombs. They do nothing but create mass shootings. Another thing, the media says this is the worst mass shooting in the American history. What about the Battle of Wounded Knee, where you just genocided thousands of Native Americans? Lies. Lies. Don't you see how it's all manipulated? The Native Americans, they were ignored, and you know, they killed thousands at a time. But this is the worst. You know, you see how they use these buzzwords to get you riled up, to get you excited. 50 people died is the worst mass shooting. How about the graves of thousands of Native Americans? There were just open graves where they just shot them. I mean, come on, wake up, guys. They're using words, they're using images to lie to you, to influence you in negative ways for their own purposes. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Oh, man. It's sad. It's sad. But I think people are waking up slowly but surely around the world. People are waking up to these evil governments. And, you know, not all aspects of government are evil. Definitely not. But you get power, and you want more power, and you want more power. That's how human beings work. And until we can learn that we're all together in this, we're all one, we're all unified, we're all equal, then until that happens, there's going to be people who want to have guns while the other, while the other people can't defend themselves. And that's just the way it is. That's what the way it is right now, but we got to change it. We can change it, but we got to try hard, guys. All right. Thank you, Arit Sheth, for that really good question. And I'll get to the question I was going to talk about next week, I think, hopefully. So, hope you guys learned something from that. I hope you are at least going to start asking questions, because that's very important. Very important to always ask questions, guys. Ask questions. No, there's no such thing as a bad question. So I'm going to leave you with that. Please leave a creative question in the comment section below for next week or the week after or whatever. But I love your questions. I love your comments. I love your likes and your shares and everything you guys do. So thank you for watching as always. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy Minecrafting. Peace.